shackled to slavery and vengeance, rather than mercy and rehabilitation. It wasn't any burst of humanity that closed these camps forever. It was the traumatic crusade of one man.
A whole life is destroyed because of a robbery he really didn't commit, and yet because of that robbery, he changed the face of America in a sense. And that's the accomplishment. That's the power of the Burns story.
About 60 years ago, Robert Elliott Burns was the most famous fugitive in the world. Short, wiry, nervous, he didn't look a survivor. Yet his indomitable spirit, iron will, and boundless courage savaged the enormous odds stacked against him time and again.
I've been waiting for you, Mr. Burns. It's been a long time. But I just knew you'd be back.
He was the man who broke 1,000 chains.
As a trustee.
An inspirational true story from HBO Pictures this month. Val Kilmer and Charles Durning star.
Never had to live through an experience that requires the kind of courage that he had to face in World War I, and just to survive in 2 bouts of the chain gang, or perhaps it was more difficult with a woman that he loved but he wasn't in love with, which is how he got put back the second time, because she turned him in.
Twice, Burns escaped the chain gang to articulate his agony in a bestseller, which inspired a film classic that so outraged the Peach State, she was livid with embarrassment.
If there is any prison reform necessary in the Empire State of the South, then those of us who have been elected to do it will do it, and not a fugitive from justice.
Burns made his first daring escape in 1922 and journeyed to Chicago.
In our film, we changed his name from Robert Burns to Elliot Roberts in Chicago. In fact, he never changed his name all during the 7 years that he was in Chicago, and all during the time that he rose to fame and a certain amount of power. He never changed his name. Now, what kind of a man would do that?
May 1929. The relentless past destroyed Burns' future. A dazed publisher was back in Georgia's cruel arms. Then, in 1930, he broke out a second time. Newspapers bristled with sensational stories. Detectives crisscrossed the nation, but the fugitive had vanished.
He had all these different jobs. He had been a dynamiter. He worked in different places. He changed the name countless times, afraid of every footfall on the stairs.
Burns embraced 2 years of bittersweet freedom, time enough to write his book and for Hollywood to film it.
When we end the picture, he's seeing the original film. He's looking up at the marquee, and he's seeing what he's accomplished. And, of course, he was rearrested shortly after that. There was an extradition hearing.
Georgia finally cornered her man in Newark, New Jersey. It was 1932.
He served almost 2 years for the theft of this money. He comes to New Jersey, and for 2 years he has been a good citizen of New Jersey.
One of the things that I miss about not having the extradition hearing at the end of the film is the fact that Georgia came after him with such a vengeance.
$4 or $400 bandit Burns should be returned to a Georgia chain gang.
Trenton, New Jersey, a few days before Christmas. The extradition hearing was packed to overflowing as the melodrama unfurled. Newsreel cameras whirred. Radio buzzed. America anxiously awaited the outcome. For Burns and his tortured family, it was a struggle they couldn't hope to win or afford to lose. Burns vowed if the verdict went against him, all Georgia would get was a corpse.
All during the trial, they accused him of falsifying his war record. They accused him of lying about his stay in the chain gangs, that it was nothing, that he had endured very little, that he had been a trustee. It was all a sham.
In the end, Georgia's deceitfulness ambushed her. The governor denied extradition, and the world cheered.
Our little family is supremely happy at this marvelous conclusion to our 11-year struggle for my brother's freedom.
Hardy even wanted to shake hands with Burns at the end and said, you beat us fair and square. And I guess that's the way it is.
He became a tax consultant in Union, New Jersey, and got married, had 3 kids, and lived a very quiet, normal life. But never, the thing that got me is he never got back the Chicago. He never got back that moment, the woman he loved, the life, the fame, the sense of accomplishment. You know, all that was burned out of him. He was destroyed by what had happened to him. That's the tragedy of Robert Burns.
Robert Elliott Burns died of cancer in 1955 at age 63. Georgia, incredibly, had tried twice more to extradite him before finally commuting his sentence to time served in 1944.
Today, the chain gangs have become abolished, and the change and abuse is a thing that is now in history.
A quarter century after they were forged, the chains were finally shattered, and the running stopped. The Man Who Broke 1,000 Chains, this month on HBO.
It's time to play detective. Time to play our game. Drop everything, get a pencil. Because the HBO Pictures Laguna Heat Sweepstakes is going to show you film clips of movie thrillers. And we're going to get some answers when you send them into the address that's coming up. You and your special partner in crime have a chance to make out big. Get the picture? We're talking Harry Hamlin and Catherine Hicks, the way they done right in this new thriller from HBO Pictures. We're talking about a grand prize mystery weekend for two to Laguna Beach for one lucky winner. We'll set you up with round-trip air transportation via TWA Airlines, and you'll enjoy a stay at the world-class Ritz-Carlton Resort in Laguna Niguel with fine dining included. And get this, the high spot of the weekend will be a game of intrigue during which the players will discover the crime, sift through clues, and unravel the mystery. 25 second-place winners will receive satin Laguna Heat jackets, and these aren't just plain clothes. Get ready. It's time to take a look at the next 5 film clips. Your job is to write down the correct answers to these mystery movie questions. Question number 1. In one of Hitchcock's most talked about films, a retired ex-policeman's fear of heights gets in the way of his private eye work on an elusive young woman. What is the title of this haunting, dreamlike thriller? Question number 2. A nosy private eye is seduced into a complex case by an alluring blonde in this bizarre mystery set in the 1930s. Directed by Roman Polanski, this film will be coming to HBO. What is the movie title? Question number 3. The screenplay to this movie was written by the film's director, Billy Wilder, and Raymond Chandler. A seductive married woman gets an insurance salesman involved in a murderous plot to kill her husband. What is the title of this classic film? Question number 4. An attractive defense lawyer falls in love with a handsome murder suspect in the suspenseful 1985 courtroom thriller. The movie's coming to HBO. What is the movie title? Question number 5. In this classic and witty mystery coming to HBO, she gets away with murder. Guess her first name in this fascinating film directed by Otto Preminger, and you'll have the name of the movie. What is it? No more questions. Now, here's what you gotta do. On a 3x5 postcard, just print your name, address, telephone number, your jacket size, and your answers to the film clip questions. Send your entry to Laguna Heat Sweepstakes, P.O. Box 1933, Grand Central Station, New York, New York 10163. Entries must be received by November 23rd. This could be your lucky break. The HBO Pictures Laguna Heat Sweepstakes.
HBO's got something original for you in November. From the laughs of a lifetime to hard hitters and Heat. But first, this was the biggest comedy event of 1986.
Which was so successful last year that, hey, we're going to do it again.
On November 14th, HBO will present live Comic Relief 87. It's a benefit for America's homeless.
Where there's laughter, there's hope. And where there's hope, there's usually a golf tournament.
With more funny people signing on every day, Comic Relief 87 will be even bigger than last year. And here's our Not Necessarily the News team with one hilarious look at the world of entertainment, including
Entertainment Sniglets.
So like the man says,
keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for cigars.
It's Not Necessarily the News, Inside Entertainment. And from HBO Showcase, a true story of an impossible double life.
I'm not a spy. I have no intention of becoming one.
From now on, you will lead 2 lives. You will also be trained to become a Syrian.
John Shea and Eli Wallach star in The Impossible Spy. Ever experienced the joys of buying a home?
The only problem was the foundation. There really wasn't one.
On Location brings you Spalding Gray in his first TV special, The Terrors of Pleasure. And it's terror on the field as one player goes too far.
I want that maniac, Dr. Death, banned from the league for life.
The Bulls are just one game away from first place in the next episode of First and 10, Going for Broke. And the action heats up live November 21st when undefeated super featherweight Julio Cesar Chavez challenges Edwin Rosario for the WBA lightweight crown. Somewhere between passion and danger, one man must face a mystery. Harry Hamlin and Jason Robards.
Don't dig up the past.
From HBO Pictures, Laguna Heat. And in December, look for a live comedy hour starring Robert Townsend. Go on location with Paul Reiser. Witness boxing's greatest knockouts and follow Powers Booth into the homeland. So for the best in exclusive entertainment, nobody brings it home like HBO.
If the question is about celebrities, the answer can be found on HBO Q&A. Eli Wallach stars in The Impossible Spy this month on HBO Showcase 87. He's one of Hollywood's most versatile actors, but how does he react to critics' reviews of his work?
Listen, I've been called everything. What was it one critic said? He played his usual Mexican bandit. When he was quiet, it was all right, but when he got excited, he sounded like he came from Riverdale. So, I don't know.
Jim Belushi can be seen in Jumpin' Jack Flash in November on HBO. He's made a fast jump himself from television to film. But does he miss the exciting pace of Saturday Night Live?
Live television was really difficult. Saturday Night Live was very difficult. I mean, it was fun, you know. It was exciting when that Saturday Night Live theme came up, you know. And the first half hour of the show was really exciting, exhilarating. But it was also the hardest work I've ever done. It was very hard. If I had a choice, I wouldn't do live television again.
Bob Goldthwait and a cast of comedians come together for Comic Relief, November 14th on HBO. Why did he decide to get involved in a show that raises money for the homeless?
I got involved in the 87 because last year I was on stage and everyone applauded me, so I already got paid for that. So this year I've actually been doing a little more work, just because I felt bad about being in last year's show because I benefited more than anyone else. So if I can give a little more this time of my actual time, it'd be cool.
This is HBO Q&A. Coming up next, the teams, the tackles, and the touchdowns. You've got a seat on the 50-yard line for all the gridiron action when HBO goes inside the NFL. Next.
Do you know the best night for television?
How about Friday night?
Bingo! HBO's Double Feature Friday.
You had me scared out of me.
Fire away on November 6th with Vice Fighters.
Right there, fella!
To Live and Die in L.A., a heavy price to pay.
Wrong place at the wrong time.
The heat's on in Tinseltown.
That was my boss. I could have handled it.
Hollywood Vice Squad, a talented force.
You're all under arrest.
On the 13th, Double Dangerfield creates campus comedy in Back to School.
I'm going to college. I'm supposed to report here for my lab project.
After campus life, it's easy money.
Taking baby pictures.
Catch 2 from Rodney for the funniest night ever. On the 20th, check out Hotel Hijinks.
It's going to be the vacation of a lifetime.
Last resort, reserve early.
That's a sex club.
Wake up! It's aerobics time!
Spend time later at a hot resort.
Let's go and pick up some broad.
Check in for laughs.
Check. Check this.
On the 27th, step out of time, out of place, and be sure to come back to the future.
You're telling me you built a time machine?
Then travel in time with Peggy Sue.
How does it feel to have missed the sexual revolution?
Peggy Sue got married.
You're a real blast from the past.
What a time. Make a note. To Live and Die in L.A. and Hollywood Vice Squad on the 6th. Back to School and Easy Money on the 13th. Last Resort and Hot Resort on the 20th. Back to the Future and Peggy Sue Got Married on the 27th. Be ready for all of them in November on Double Feature Fridays on HBO.